All right, everybody, I've got a brand new DCEU update for you guys today, and I'll try not to clap my hands or rub my hands together during this. Somebody complained about that in the last video, which I thought was kind of funny, but as you can see, I've got my wall back up. I'm still not done with my comics, but I found a new way to get these guys up and visible, so I've got my background back. And it could grow, which is pretty cool. But I'm done. As the title of my video says, I'm done. We're going to talk about some interesting DC stuff today, and the reason I'm done is because HBO Max is raising their price next month by $1, so I'm done. I am done paying money for this service. The only thing I've really done with HBO Max recently is I've watched Big Bang Theory, but I own all of those on Blu-ray anyway, so I don't even need HBO Max. So I'm getting rid of it. They're going to be turning into a combined service next year with Discovery Plus. I do love Discovery Plus. There's tons of documentaries on there. I actually have a video about Discovery Plus in my playlist somewhere, not in the DC, obviously, playlist, but in the Cutting the Cord playlist. So I have different playlists on here. I'm actually an expert at cutting the cord, and I do have a whole video on Discovery Plus. In my eyes, it's probably the best value for streaming out there. But I am going to be done with HBO Max. I'm not going to pay the extra money, especially when they're getting rid of all of their stuff. But let's talk about some of the DC goodness going on out there. There's a little teaser that was released on Twitter today of a preview of the trailer that is going to be released for The Flash during the Super Bowl. And they are doing this. I can't believe they're spending the money to do this with the hole that they're in. And the strange thing is, Warner Brothers Discovery's stock is like rising. It's probably $5 higher now than when it was at its lowest a couple of weeks ago. I think it's at like $13 and some odd cents. And it's rising because I think David Zaslav was out there lying to investors. But until they show anything that's going to help bolster the company, I don't know what they're doing to get the stock to rise, but it's a bunch of crock is what it is. And so we've got that going on. We also have this whole thing going on with the Batman. It is now in production. They did announce that the Penguin show is officially in production. I think they either started filming today or yesterday, and it's going to directly tie in to the Batman 2. Matt Reeves came out the other day and said he is deep in writing, and they're most of the way through writing the script for the Batman 2, and is going to tie directly into whatever they're doing with the Penguin show, which I think is great. And I'm okay with the Batman having its own universe as long as we still get a full-blown Batman in the DCEU with James Gunn, and I'm still waiting for him to release stuff. He's like gone quiet. He's not interacting much on Twitter at all. He's responded to a few people, but he's basically gone dark until they announce this new stuff with whatever they're doing with the DCU going forward. I'm not expecting much. I'm now at the stage where I just don't care. I'm going to be covering everything. I care about DC, but there is no way whatever he does is going to even match the level of anything that Zack Snyder or James Wan had done up until, the whole thing with Aquaman. From Aquaman on, things have just gone downhill with the whole DCEU. So I don't have a lot of hope that what James Gunn is going to do is going to reach the level of anything that has come before. I just don't see it happening, especially with the money problems that Warner Brothers Discovery is having. I don't think they're going to be able to put the money into the features that they need. And supposedly this is why they're getting rid of all of the actors and, the top paying people so that they can free up some money. But what they don't realize is by getting rid of somebody like Cavill, they're going to lose more money than they would have made had they paid just to keep him. So I don't understand the reasoning behind that. In fact, I just had a conversation with a good friend of mine. We talk about this stuff all the time, and he said, he's more of just an average moviegoer. He's not into DC like I am, but he said, him and I went and saw Black Adam early, and we both really enjoyed it. But the greatest time during that film was when Henry Cavill made an appearance, and everybody in the theater cheered and was super excited to see Cavill back. So for them to turn their back on him is the biggest, like I said, it's the biggest backstab I've ever seen a studio do towards its fans ever. And so I don't have real big hope for the future, but I'm going to see what James Gunn comes out with. I don't know. Maybe we'll be surprised, but I'm not counting on it. And with the Batman 2, I will tell you, for that movie to be successful and to keep the audience, there has to be massive growth in the character. We cannot have the same Bruce Wayne, the same Batman as we did in the first Batman film, because he was very inexperienced. He'd only been out there for 2 years, and he was very slow talking, slow moving. That's not Batman. Batman is more forceful and very deliberate with his movements and what he does. And that was not Pattinson at all. And I really hope Matt Reeves, I've never seen Matt Reeves do a great action flick, so I don't know if he has it in him to do a true action film and give someone like Batman justice, the way it needs to be done on film. I still think it's ridiculous also that we don't have a live-action Batman film, and we haven't had one since 1966, which I think is ridiculous. But that's where we're at. I would like to see them come out with a true Batman TV show. I think that would be pretty awesome. The last thing I want to talk about in regards to DC today is Ezra Miller. He is pleading guilty. He is pleading guilty to the charges of trespassing. There are other charges, but he is not pleading guilty to those. But what I'm betting is he is pleading guilty to the trespassing charge so that he gets a lesser sentence or probably only has to do community service. You can see that he's a Hollywood person. They're going to protect him. They're going to do everything they can to save grace and keep him on his image good in the eyes of the average moviegoer. That's where they're headed with this, and I don't know if they're going to be successful with it or not, but they're going to be gearing up for a lot of promotion with the Flash film, so look for the trailer dropping on Super Bowl Sunday during the game. I'll be there watching the game. I'll do a video either that night after the game or probably the next day and kind of recap everything. But if you stick to my channel, if you haven't already, and I need to start mentioning this at the beginning of the video, if you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed or hit that notification bell, please do so. It helps out my channel. I just finally broke 5,000 subscribers. I'm gaining momentum, and I want to keep that momentum going. And please feel free to share my video. Put it on some of those groups on Facebook and other places and Reddit and share my videos. It would help me out tremendously to help my channel grow. I will be covering everything DC, coming up, and I'm going to start integrating some of the comic stuff coming up as well. And comics are not doing well, I will tell you that. They've got this new Lazarus storyline, Lazarus Planet, that's coming up, and they're introducing a trans superhero in that. It's their new amazing superhero that DC is going to push, and I think everybody's transed out at this stage. LGBTQ plus and trans, I think everybody's just kind of had their fill of it at this stage, and they kind of need to move on now, get things kind of back to normal, because you can only do so much with that before people I had it pulled from my bag. I just don't care. That's not why I'm reading DC Comics. I want to see superhero storylines. I could care less about the sexual orientation. Anyway, there's my 2 cents for the day. I do appreciate it. If you haven't, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You will be notified as I have new videos go up. We'll see you guys on the next video.